You know, there is a saying that the abortion clinics are in the Black neighborhood and the fertility clinics are in the white neighborhood. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard about these stories, but this is the second fertility clinic that lost the eggs. What they do is they freeze these eggs after they're removed from the uterus, and this is for when they're ready to have babies in the future. Then they go back to the fertility clinic. Well, these eggs are really being lost now because the way they're stored is malfunctioning. I tell you, when the Most High makes a group of people barren, he ain't playing. He's not playing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. And this came out on CNN, March 12th, 2018. And I will leave the link to this article in the description box. Hold on, let me see if I can get this.
If you're having fertility problems, go see a doctor as a couple, because half the time the issue is the woman's, half the time the issue is the man's. Some people multiply easily, and some people have fertility issues, and you really don't know until you try. Age, of course, plays a big role, but there are other things too, both for men and women, that can influence your fertility. For example, if you're overweight, that can influence your fertility. And doctors tell us that for both men and women, losing weight sometimes really solves the problem. If you drink too much caffeine, if you drink too much alcohol, that can affect your fertility. If you take certain drugs, that can affect your fertility too. And one of the first things a fertility doctor is going to tell you is stop smoking. Smoking, just like it affects your heart and your lungs, also affects your fertility. If a woman is worried she may have difficulty conceiving a baby, she can talk to her doctor about having an AMH test. This is a relatively new test that basically gauges the health of a woman's eggs. So after the test is done, the doctor can say, your egg reserve is not great, or really, you have nothing to worry about. Your eggs look terrific. The AMH test is relatively inexpensive, and it's just a simple blood test. And a man who's worried about his fertility can have a semen analysis. If you are having fertility issues, there are a number of things that you can do. Women can go on hormones, for example. Other women need surgery. Some women get artificial insemination. Other women do in vitro fertilization, which is where egg and sperm are put together in a laboratory and then put into the woman's uterus. Now, if some women choose to freeze their eggs, let's say, for example, a woman isn't married and she's worried that her biological clock is ticking, she might take her eggs out and freeze them for when she does meet her husband. Other women do this in other situations. It's basically an insurance policy. It's taking your eggs now for when you want to use them later. When couples are having fertility problems, many times the problem is that the man doesn't have good blood flow in his scrotum. And actually, that can be fixable often by surgery. The traditional method of having a baby is with the mother's egg, the father's sperm, and that embryo in the mother's uterus. For some couples, no matter what treatments they get, this is not possible. And so that's when the couple moves on to perhaps using donor eggs, eggs from another woman, or perhaps using a surrogate, someone else to carry that baby, or perhaps using donor sperm if the father's sperm aren't working. One of the most important things about infertility is that you shouldn't suffer alone. There are lots of people to help you. Don't suffer in silence. Get some help. There are lots of options out there.
Man, people got this many problems? Y'all got some damn problems. That sounds complicated to me. But let's move on. All right. So some eggs and embryos at a San Francisco Fertility Center may no longer be viable after a storage tank malfunction. The Pacific Fertility Center said a piece of equipment in its cryo storage laboratory lost liquid nitrogen for a brief period of time on March 4th. It is the second clinic to report a fault that weekend. You know why? You know why this is happening, y'all? Because this is unnatural. This is an unnatural thing that they're trying to do. And that's why it's failing. I mean, and even after they freeze these eggs, it's no guarantee that the woman will come back years later and get pregnant off of these eggs. Some of them store these eggs and never experience a pregnancy. So it's not a guarantee. This is unnatural. This is not, maybe that has a lot to do with why they're losing these eggs in the clinics. So there you have it. It sounds like there was a drop in, I guess, the freezing component that these eggs were in, and now they're lost because of the malfunction and the change in temperatures that dropped in the freezers where they were stored. So I will leave the link to this article in the description box because it goes over a lot of what was in the video. So I'm not going to just repeat it all over again. But as you can see, they are having complications in storing these eggs from women that are having a hard time getting pregnant, or they choose to delay their pregnancy and save their eggs. All unnatural. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell twice and join me over on Black Junction TV and blackspot.com. Peace, family.